Trump refuses to leave after 25th Amendment is invoked. Trump rejects removal. A messenger departed from the Vice President's residence and arrived at the United States Capitol under the cover of darkness. He carried two sealed envelopes, one of formally addressed to the Speaker of the House. The other was directed to the President Prompter of the Senate. Inside each envelope was the same single page document, brief in length but seismic in consequence. That document signed by the Vice President and a majority of the President's cabinet declared that the President is unable to carry out the powers and responsibilities of the House. With that delivery, the federal government crossed a constitutional threshold that legal scholars have warned about for decades. Section 4 of the 25th Amendment has been invoked. This is the scenario academics have debated in classrooms and law reviews for more than half a century, never fully believing it would unfold in real time, but it has. And what was Washington frozen in fear is not the invocation itself, it is the response. The president is refusing to accept it. Multiple reports indicate the president has barricaded himself inside the White House residence. He issued verbal instructions to the Secret Service to deny the Vice President access. He has publicly labeled the cabinet's action illegal, calling it a coup. At this very moment, the United States has entered an unprecedented situation. Two individuals are asserting authority as commander in chief. At the same time, the vice president states that under the Constitution, he is now the acting president. The president insists that because he was elected, he remains in charge, and the military, an institution built on clear chains of command, is facing the unthinkable reality of receiving conflicting directives from the different sources. The machinery of governing is grinding under the weight of constitutional collision. What you are hearing here reflects the situation as it is unfolding. To grasp how dangerous this moment is, it is essential to understand exactly what Section 4 of the 25th Amendment does. Many Americans assume the amendment only addresses presidential death. That is not true. Section 4 was crafted for a far narrower and more unsettling circumstance when a president is alive but no longer capable or no longer safe to exercise power. It was written for scenarios where a president is incapacitated, mentally unfit, unconscious, or acting in a way that poses a threat to the republic itself. Under this provision, the vice president and a simple majority of the cabinet, 8 secretaries, can sign a declaration stating that the president cannot fulfill the duties of the office. The instant that declaration reaches Congress, power transfers immediately to the Vice President. There is no hearing, no court proceeding, no delay. Authority shifts in real time. That transfer occurred at 3:14 a.m. The switch was flipped, but the Constitution provides a countermeasure. The President can reclaim authority by submitting his own written declaration stating that he is capable of discharging his duties. If he does that, power snaps back to him instantly unless the Vice President and Cabinet respond within 4 days by reaffirming their original declaration. If they do, Congress becomes the final arbiter. We are not at that stage yet. These are the opening hours. The vice president is attempting to assemble a functioning administration while the elected president remains inside the White House, reportedly preparing termination orders against the very officials who signed the letter removing him. The historical context matters here because nothing like this has ever fully happened before. The closet, the closest parallel dates back to 1919 when President Woodrow Wilson suffered a devastating stroke. He was left partially paralyzed and unable to communicate effectively for months. During that period, his wife Edith Wilson quietly controlled access to him, filtered documents, and effectively ran the executive branch without constitutional authority. That secretive arrangement alarmed lawmakers and eventually led to the drafting of the 25th Amendment declares this decades later. The amendment was designed to prevent another hidden presidency and ensure continuity of leadership, but its authors made one critical assumption that all parties would respect the process. They never anticipated a president who would openly reject the Constitution's mechanism and refuse to relinquish control. Inside the White House, this situation is described by sources as chaotic. Staff members are reportedly breaking down in hallways. Some are packing personal belongings and leaving immediately. Others are destroying documents. The president's chief of staff, who is said to have refused to sign the cabinet letter, is directing the press office to characterize the situation as an illegal uprising. Draft executive orders are alleged